Sagittarius, who's moving from a maiden to get married this month? Welcome to your June reading. This is your reading for a 7th house transit. So the sun will be sweeping through your 7th house. I feel that you guys are going to be coming into a revolutionary relationship. It's going to be one that is showing that you're healing your emotional foundation. You're healing how you identify in the world, who you identify with, and this is changing your sphere of influence. We are the people who we hang around with. We are the people, I believe the 10 people who we text the most. Just look through your phone and see who you've texted the most with for the longest amount of time. That is who is informing you. I personally am a hermit, so I know my Sagittariuses are a little bit more social. You guys have an outer world persona because Gemini is in your 7th house of relationships, and open/hidden enemies are the 12th house. Yeah, Menahune, you work with a lot of people and they help you to build amazing things, spiritually aligned things. So let's be sure that we are taking the time out to honor and love those relationships more than the ones that are not spiritually aligned. How can we move more into spiritual protection? I had to wrap my head because I started feeling really down. From nothing to everything. This is also a 16, so it's a net 7. Let's see. During the first week of June, let's go back a couple weeks. I feel like you're going to meet 7 people this month. Maybe there's going to be a crew of people who comes across your way, they enter your life, and these are people who are more spiritually aligned beings. They're people who you're planning out events with. Maybe they are affirming for you. All of your journey has just been building up to this moment, and I sense that because Neptune is at 29 degrees in your 4th house, and maybe there have been tendencies in you to gaslight yourself, to not show up to support yourself, to not make those boundaries that you've needed, because you guys are like headstrong. You're more powerful than Aries, which is my rising, and I know I'm very headstrong. And maybe you've been so determined to fix people in your life rather than just let them go and let them be and do their own thing, because you've identified a lot with those people. Aries is in your 5th house with Chiron at 22 degrees, so there will be some romantic relationships that are unstable. They break down because you're meant to be doing something else. I see Bhuvanesh body and Kali Kapali. Wow, Kali Kapali is really breathtaking, and she looks like an Aries, and Bhuvaneswari is looking like a Taurus. So maybe you have someone who is aspecting your 5th house and your 6th house this month. So that would be like someone in your day-to-day working environment, and then someone who you are a romantic connection with, someone who is a creative partner in crime for you, and then also with Uranus at 24 degrees Taurus on the 1st of June, the sun in 11 degrees Gemini, it's going to be asking you, are these people providing a foundation for you? How so, and what can you take off of your shoulders to ensure that you're showing up for yourself? Because Jupiter is also moving into your 7th house, so it's going to make things glaringly obvious. Whatever you're not willing to look at in your partnerships and relationships in your work environment, it's shifting from like being something that you could ignore to being something that is at your front door, knocking on your door, and you got to decide what's happening. Turn to the ancestors. Honor ceremony. There will be a new moon in Gemini to help us to plant seeds, and this will change our thinking. It'll change the strategies that we have around thinking. I want to read Going from Nothing to Everything because that's a pretty significant card for me. Do you have a fear or do you feel ashamed around some form of your creativity? Because I feel that the Aries is going to help you with ceremony and with honoring that you have needs too, Sagittarius. Okay, from nothing to everything. Oh, my friend, if you are longing to be written on, become a blank page. So I feel that with Neptune in your 4th house, it's really shaking clean a lot of your need to silence others, to not witness certain things in other people that you would rather just pretend didn't exist because it rings too close to home. You have gifts that maybe have been on reserve to take care of people in your life, but these people in your life need to see you standing in your gifts. They need to see you being ridden on by God. They need to see Christ come into your life. Whatever ascended masters you work with, Master Himalaya is coming through as well. Okay, so I'm just going to read where my eyes fell. Something magical happens. We participate through presence along with the unfolding story of our soul journey. We open up to whatever is asked of us, presented to us, happening through us as we choose each day to come alive as much as we can. Then, as if by magic, there is something else that occurs. That would be grace. Real, rich, dripping with goodness and sustenance. Grace. This is the sacred blessing that enables us to pay attention to opening doors rather than closing ones, the divine assistance that lets us know our life is proceeding according to a greater intelligence and plan. Once we stop thinking quite so much and live day to day, we will be blessed with the realization that our individual life story is so much more extraordinary and perfect than anything we could have summoned, even with our wildest imagination. So, again, perspective shift from your day-to-day life with Taurus in your 6th house. I think that that's what's changing your day-to-day life, and you're learning to be an active participant from a place of really feeling passionately, compulsively driven to do and say certain things. You're not holding yourself back anymore. You're not overdoing it with certain relationships, and this is what's going to help you to rise in integrity, to do things that serve your soul. Okay, that was all in the first week of June, Sagittarius. So amazing slating, clearing the foundation, making room for what's coming in. Okay. I also wanted to read Ka Wai Aka Pili Liko. This is 11, which does speak to that first week, but I have a good feeling about this in the second week. Reflection, water of the reflected image. Yours is the essence, O God, ours the material part. Be quick to hear and slow to speak. So Ka Wai Aka Pili Liko is a tool you can use to see clearly into the essence of a person, problem, or situation. Another Hawaiian word for mirror is anainai. Anainai honu ui ike means a mirror that enlarges vision. Kawai akapililiko may remind you that reflection can lead to enlarged vision. So I think you're seeing something really close up, and you're seeing the truth for what it is, but this truth is setting you free, okay? So the truth will set you free. We got the sun at 18 degrees Gemini on Saturday, June 8th, and I believe that you're going to be able to take action in relationships to set yourself free. You're going to see things for what they are, and you're going to be able to move towards these evolving relationships, evolving opportunities that allow for you to do more of what it is that your soul is called to do now. The galactic center is now at 27 degrees Sagittarius. It moved from being 26, so maybe you've been a nanny your whole life. It fulfilled you, it paid your rent, it paid your bills, but now you're stepping into being a teacher. And this is something that you're drawing those skills from and applying them in a new way. You still are able to look at people and see what they need. You're still able to make a safe environment in your classroom for people. You're able to provide the people who are your students, they don't have to be children, with the care and the encouragement that they need on their journey to make the changes that they need to make in the world. So the south node, I wanted to look at that. It's at 12 degrees as well as the north node. So that is the decan of the second decan. So it deals with our relationships, our interactions on a day-to-day basis. And with the north node in your 5th house, your romance of life is coming into a place where you feel like fated connections are coming together, and then you're dropping out of those social interactions that really don't speak to you. There are people who you feel like you gotta shower after you talk to them. There are people who they aren't honoring their divine ability to express the Holy Spirit, and you understand now how this impacts your energy. So one shielding technique that I've learned is to envision yourself surrounded by a pyramid shape of mirrors. So the mirror surface reflects out, and then on the inside, transparent so you can see out, white light around you so that you are feeling spiritually renewed and restored through everything. You're guided with your intuition. Like I was guided to wrap my head. My husband had set this down for me, which is so interesting because I have a satin version of this, same thing from Walmart, but I knew that I have silk things. Doesn't matter what the material is. This is what I was called to use because it's the color of the throat chakra, and the third eye, I believe, is an indigo as well. Whew. Maybe you guys are doing public speaking now because I feel like I'm speaking so much and it's hopefully activating who it needs to activate, but I feel it. I feel it in my brain. I feel it reverberating through me. So you guys might be activating people with what you have to say. Third week of June. Pluto is in your third house, so this is your house of talents, and I believe it's bulldozing the talents that really don't stand the test of time. Like, if you thought you could do what you're doing for the next 10 years, it's becoming really obvious that you have to switch lanes now. You have to take the exit right now, literally right now. Hopefully that was for someone driving and was gonna miss their exit. But it's stuff like that, like you really are believing in the integrity of what you have to say. And what you have to say is showing you time and time again through various people coming into your life, interacting with you, that allows for you to propel yourself more into your spiritual nature, more into your spiritual gifts. We will have the sun in the third decan of Gemini on the 15th of June at 25 degrees. So maybe you'll come into a sense of oneness with your community, oneness with the work that you're doing. We have Uranus in the third decan again. It's gonna be moving a degree come next week, and it's not necessarily in an 8-degree orb, but it's pretty close to Taurus in your 6th house of day-to-day assignments, tasks, duties, being pushed by Mars. So Mars is really pushing you to speak the truth, to give your notice, to have that backup work that you're doing while you transition into something that's more aligned with you, that's more aligned with your spiritual needs and your goals right now. Saturn will be at 19 degrees Pisces, and I have, oh my gosh, something just came into mind of like these people who nag you, these people who bring you down with their vibration. Cut them off. Let them know where they stand with you. Defend yourself, but from the heart. I had someone who, very toxic person, but I was able to let them know I did this because I care about how you feel. And it's like, what kind of POS would not be like, wow, I'm really, really a cruel person sometimes to the people who love me the most. How does that set them in a new direction? When we honor ourselves and we stand up for ourselves and we are clear about our intentions and our motivations for acting, when we need to, when we feel back in a corner, we'll be able to stand up for ourselves. And that speaks volumes to the people who might have been throwing stones and judging, because it lets them know that they can't play with you like that, Sag. And we know that you're very fiery, but I feel that this work you're doing is deeply healing some wounds from childhood. Maybe when you wanted to stand up to people, you felt discouraged because you were afraid of the repercussions. Let me clear my throat, baby. Third week of June. Sun moves into your 8th house. So what partnerships, connections, contracts are you moving into? Which ones are you ending formally? Where have you given your notice? How is this making you feel? Ask yourself these questions on a daily basis, Sag, because it will allow for you to come into your light, come into your livelihood. And you thought life was good, just wait, because it gets better. Krishna. If you're meeting someone who is a Gemini, I really felt that for you, Gemini. Mars will be at 10 degrees Taurus. Jupiter is 6 degrees Gemini. So 6 is the number of relationships, and Mars is a manifestation in your 6th house, your day-to-day life. Maybe this is an employer, a boss, someone who you're glad to work with, someone who sees your soul. Maybe there's someone who is not a romantic connection, but there's someone who motivates you and uplifts you. They light your fire in a way that feels really safe. They make you feel safe because they are safe with themselves. They know how to defend themselves. They know how to, they have the blue third eye pendant on their turban. They wrap your head up to Sagittarius. All right, coming into the final week of June, we'll have the sun at 8 degrees in your 8th house. You guys are making long-term decisions, long-term contracts, long-term agreements that feel really good. They feel very supportive to what it is that you need out of this life. You're not sitting backseat anymore. You are the driver in your car, in your modality for moving around in the world, and that feels great. We have Jupiter in the 7th house. So for those of y'all still clinging to relationships, God's going to make it really ugly. He's going to make it glaringly obvious. You will get the downloads. You will see the visions. You will see the confirmation that it's time to give up these people. And they're toxic. Let them go. Let them follow you after you start finding yourself on your mission. Let them come back to you and see you in this renewed sense of self and this expanded sense of self, because it's coming. The moon will be on this day where the sun is at 8 degrees Cancer. The moon will be in your 5th house at 21 degrees Aries. So I feel that there's no limit to what you're doing now. Like, you're learning everything you can about it. So if this is like, you know, you're public speaking and you are keynoting 5 conferences, you're able to move out of your own way. You're able to say, yes, I deserve this money. Or if it's a negotiation, you're able to negotiate to get what you need. You're staying at a really nice luxury resort because, hey, let's admit it, even though this physical world is passing, we are physical beings. We love to have a nice shower. We love to have a beautiful view. It's just the wealth of living in a state of abundance in our spirit. And then Mars will be at a net 6 Taurus in your 6th house. So make sure that you are being properly compensated for your spiritual gifts. Sagittarius, let me know how the month of June goes for you. Wrap your head, leave me comments, buy yourself a ticket to my Saturn webinar. I'll be discussing Saturn and all of the signs and discussing the different strategies for working with this energy. Saturn is in your 4th house, so we are making sure that we are really relishing our feeling state. There was just a bird kind of like hovering with something in its beak. It's like you have the material wealth and resources, but now you need to know where to go with that. So I can help you with that, and I look forward to seeing you in our next reading. Aloha.